North Texas UNT student. He also works with us for now, so yeah, between both of us, we're going to work through this presentation. So glad that you guys invited us up here today. Preparedness is part of the cornerstones of helping the whole community, and we're glad here to get together and share some ways that you guys can be prepared up here in the Union Park area and throughout your community with that. Been working with the town for 10 years now, so I was up here about 2 or 3 years ago, as I recall, with the county giving a presentation. Glad you guys invited us back. I think it was before the pandemic, before all this crazy stuff happened. But glad to be back again, and looking forward to share some of the great information that's best practices, and some of the stuff will also help with you and your family prepare for disasters and recovery. So let's move forward. So why prepare? It's important to prepare. Disasters happen to everybody. We cannot, for lack of terms, it's part of our culture nowadays. It's going to happen. If not, when is it going to happen? So it's very important to be prepared at all levels. So again, disaster preparedness helps ensure safety and well-being of your friends and family. You want to get in that mindset, that resiliency mindset. You want to, be in a state of mind where you're not looking over your shoulder all the time, but you want to have some sort of situational awareness. You want to pay attention to the weather. You want to pay attention to your community. You want to pay attention to what's going on around you. Again, between disasters, emergencies, crime, and things like that. You just as a resident, as a person, you want to have that situational awareness so that you can be informed, and you can make decisions about what you and your family are going to do in the future, or what you're going to need. So it's very important. Another aspect is, I can touch on that, disaster occurs in our area. Who knows what is the most prevalent disaster do you think it's in our area? Anybody have any guess?
Wildfires.
Tornadoes.
Hey, those are some of them. Those are all great. We have a myriad of different ones, but the number one that we have is severe weather. So yes, that encompasses severe. So severe weather for our area is potential tornadoes, hail, and wind, and lightning. Believe it or not, have you guys had lightning in your area burn down a home? Unfortunately. And unfortunately, it happens a lot. We get when the severe weather's come, lightning is definitely one of the things. So again, with that, keep that in mind as we go through this presentation. Of hey, maybe I don't have this. Maybe I need this. Or hey, I didn't think about this. Let's get together with my family and my friends and think about this. So definitely keep that in mind as you go through.
Yeah. So you could just take our word for it, but we'd like to back it up with some stats here. So for Texas, up until February 6th, we've had 372 declared disasters. And this number has increased lately because of the recent Panhandle fires that we have in our Panhandle near Amarillo and all that. And the main disaster that affects Texas is fires. As you can see, like our western and northern counties, like they have a lot of wildfire potential due to dry land and dry climate there. And then near our coasts, we have a bunch of flood hazards, tropical storm hazards, and everything that's associated with that. And then for us locally, here in Benton County, we've had 23 declared disasters. And number one, like Travis touched on, was severe storms, severe weather. And second, we have fire, and then we have had hurricane implications as well.
So the implications from that is for the hurricanes is the tropical outer rings that are coming up. We're not directly hit by the hurricanes, obviously. We're way too north of that, but we have in the past been touched by those outer bands that are coming up there. But it's an interesting stat is obviously, like I said, severe weather, which encompasses all of the tornadoes, the hail, and lightning and high winds. Believe it or not, I think in the last couple of years, from my stats here in the town, knock on wood, wherever, step on wood or whatever, tornadoes, I think we've had a couple sightings up here at North 380 are some of the ones that have come up with. I think they've touched down more in Prosper and a little bit east of us. But winds have been really, really prevalent too. We get a lot of wind damage up here, trees knocked down. Then I would say next is your hail and then your lightning. Luckily, last couple of years, we've had some smaller hail up here, but lightning's been pretty bad up here too, with lightning across the spectrum of that. So it's kind of interesting because you guys live up here above 380, and half our other residents live around the lake, and so it's just kind of interesting dynamic where when I'm again, as we're approaching storm season, I have my responsibility is the whole town, to include you guys. So I have the radars up, and I have to pay attention to the different parts of the town and the way the storms travel. And I don't know, but some people think it's called the lake effect. Ever since I've been here for 10 years, they're like, the lake kind of seems to dissipate some of the storms coming through the lower part of the town. And then up here on 380, you can see some of the cells that are going from west to east that kind of pick up a lot of strength as they continue to move across with the updraft in the thunder. So it's kind of interesting to see that's going on. So it's important is to have a good weather radar on your phone or your app too. So just kind of touching back. So as you can see, Justin talked about 23 disasters since 53, but our last recent couple disasters have been the winter storm and also the pandemic are our most prevalent ones that we've had here in the last couple of years. Before that, it was flooding and then some fire. A lot of the fire that we're going to deal with in the county is mainly east of us because of the open areas and open things like that. Up here north, since we're building out so much here in the city, we've actually our wildland interface has actually dwindled. And so, and with the new buildings and all the construction, a lot of the green belts have been maintained and put in really nicely. So we don't have a lot of vegetation, a lot of fuels to start those wildfires. So for us in the city, in the town rather, our wildfire threat is dwindling very good. So that's something that we wouldn't have to worry about too much. But again, the Mother Nature will do what they want to do, and so all it takes is something really bad, a spark, and embers flying over and touching roofs, and we could have wildfires from miles away potentially. So, any questions on these stats, by the way? Anything So they're stats. These come from FEMA. They've done a really good job over the last 5 to 10 years of consolidating stats because it's very important to show the why. Why is it important for residents to and just everybody to be prepared? Again, the government's not going to come and rescue you. If we are inundated, if we're inundated by a large swath of area, you will be on your own. Potentially could be on your own for up to 72 minimum to a week by yourself. Last winter storm, we were stuck in our homes for 5 days, right? Just about, not going anywhere. So that gives you a good gauge of how I would prepare for at least having 3 to 5 days. It used to be at least 3 days. But now with the uptick in the way the weather, the climate is changing and things like that, definitely would have 5 days of some sort of preparedness for your family. So moving forward in this presentation, we're going to talk about 12 areas. These are the 12 areas that we're going to touch on up here. You can see different. So each one of these has their own slide, and we'll go through each one of these and talk more specific about some of these areas. But keep in mind as you're going through, you'll see some warnings. Make a plan, communication, safeguard your documentations. We'll talk about that. Make your home safe. I have when we're done with this presentation, my fire marshal should be coming in here. He had a meeting this morning, and he'll talk about home fire safety, kitchen fires. So we'll have the town of Little fire marshal come up, and he'll give you a presentation on how to prepare for fires and how to put fires out, and all that good stuff. For kitchen fires, not of course safety is the paramount. You can't put it out. You need to get out and call 911. But he will talk about that stuff. Don't want to take away his presentation. Another thing you guys are great. This is great. Get involved in your community. This is we always talk about that. Try to encourage everyone to get involved and so on. So let's talk.
Yeah. So very important thing is to sign up for alerts and warnings because this will help you have the correct information that you need for whenever you need to act. And there's different ways to do it. First one here, like having a mobile app. like just like social media. That is also a very good one to use. Just follow like very well trusted resources where that can deliver information. Emergency alert systems, such as like local stations that'll put emergency alerts for whenever they need to occur. You can also do it wireless as well through your phone. So, and moving on there, the NOAA weather radio, having the National Weather Service like system there to be able to have that information there. So whenever severe weather does occur or anything that needs to be addressed to you, you can have that right there. And lastly, we can have local emergency notifications, such as the town of Little Elm has this Little Elm alert that you can sign up for, and it'll give you information.
Are y'all taking questions?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What about sirens? Because like we just lost AT&T for a whole day, and I've heard the sirens occasionally, depending on which way the wind blows. So is that not a viable solution anymore, or?
You want to jump in on that? Yeah.
So, I love your question, great question. Do I have more siren information in the presentation?
Okay, I'm sorry.
No worries, that's great, but I can address that now, that's great.
Okay,
No,
sure.
this is an open forum. I'm not, I don't have, I'm flexible, so not a big deal, I will address. And, so what this is talking about is your main, your main effort. So, all these techniques here are all these mobile app, emergency alert system, wireless. These are all the stuff that's in your hand, on your TV, on your phone, on your computer. Those are your primary ways to be alerted for any type of severe weather, community incidences, and things like that. The sirens are really they're meant for they're a local way to alert people who are outside to go inside to seek information and prepare to take cover. That, yes, ma'am.
So there's only one that I know of near going to Kroger. How do we get the city of Little Elm to maybe consider having one closer to us? Because
Or behind us.
I think we really need to hear it.
Yes. Because
So, I'll jump to this now.
Okay, thanks.
So actually, I misplaced it. We've got 13 sirens now. I didn't update the slide because we just got them in. One here at Paloma Creek South, getting ready to go in, right down there.
Oh, good.
The one over here by Fire Station 3. And this one here is right by the elementary school, Union Park Elementary.
Right
Cool.
here?
Union Park Elementary School.
That's a new one over here. It's brand new.
It's in there right now. We just installed it. They're not done.
Okay.
They're not done yet. They gotta put batteries in. We gotta test them. So they're not
Is
activated.
that Union Park Elementary right
Yes.
there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, across the
Union
street?
Park the elementary school that's in your area
Yes.
Oh,
is.
All right, you answered my question, thank you.
So so in our planning, we know this area here is newer. Yes, sir.
are these sirens on, wireless or satellite rather than, cable?
So how it works is we have a program radio station, and it is either on my phone app or at a base station at the fire department. In times of need, they will be manually activated. They will never be auto activated because there's too many problems with auto activation. The problem is that the weather service will put us in too many so the weather service, I'm not familiar, let me back up. So when the severe weather comes, especially here in the severe weather season, the wind we're going from west to east. So the makeup of that is we have Gulf moisture that comes up, and then we have dry line that comes in, and that's where we get the dry line that comes in and it blows up everything. So what happens is as they're moving along, the weather service will put us in these little boxes, and that's why you get severe weather alerts on your phone. Well, hey, you're in severe weather, take precautions, things like that. Problem is, depends on how the cells move, we might be put in like 3 or 4 weather boxes. And what happens is every time if we go, and it's in the same area within a certain amount of time, so if I do that and sound off my sirens in excessive, it will confuse a lot of people. So typically what we do is we watch the cells come through, depending on which way they're going, and if the criteria meets the activation, we will activate the sirens upon it, and then we will follow up with a little M alert. That's why it's important to back up with little M alert. To if you haven't done so, sign back up to little M alert and receive notifications from you on why we sounded the sirens and who they were for. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so my question was actually, how do they receive the information? And I think you answered that. That's through the radio network. It's not being fed by AT&T.
No.
It's being fed by the
We have-
radio waves,
Yes.
if you will, radio network. And so that way they're independent from failure.
Yes, and so we have our own independent radio station, or that frequency that sends those out, and it's radio waves. So we sit once a month. We sound them off at 1 p.m. You should hopefully hear this one soon once it's all put in, because our goal is to get them up and running before storm season. And so right now, that's our current, is what you just saw on that map with that. But we have one more that's going in. But again, if you feel like if we're there's gaps, and we put them in. So if you feel that siren, you need another one up here in your area, the best way to do that is to go to the council meetings
Okay.
and tell them your concern.
Okay, thank
And
you.
that would be the best, yes, ma'am.
Is it still the first Wednesday of the month?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So again, if you guys have comments and concerns, get with your council member or go to the council meetings and open form requests.
Okay, so I signed up for the Little Owl emails, I get those, but are you saying that there's also a Little Owl,
Alert. So on the website. So either do the QR code here, or go to the website. There should be on the landing page of the website. There should be a place that's Little Elm Alert. If you click on that, it will take you to another. It will take you on to another the landing page of my page. It will give you a sign up for Little Elm Alert.
okay, so I'm going to Little Elm first,
LittleElm.org.
yeah, I'm on that.
And then on that page, there should be a button or something on there that says sign up for Little Elm Alert or receive it. Because that's a great question. There is an email side of that, and there's also an alerting side.
So the one you're talking about will download an app on your phone, correct?
It will
Or
download.
computer.
Well, it will download this text. So it will take you to the landing page, and it will go to text on there.
You said there's a button.
Hang on, let's look and see. We'll help you out here. Give me a sec here.
Oh, there I see it, Little Owl Alert, okay,
Let me do a little bit of speaking on.
alright. Well, now I've rotated into water. Okay, let me see if I can get it.
So,
Okay, I'm into Little Owl Alerts, alright, registration of
Storm season, I don't know when it's.
It tends to pick up in the spring, last round, when the climate is out.
Egg.
everything's pretty much usually. Well, except for Little Elm. The city of Little Elm should have a. Yeah, that's what it is.
And go until.
Usually like.
Sorry about this. I have
Little leeway.
Come here a minute, thank you. I'm asking. Yes, ma'am, she's a little confused. Not confused.
Not complete yet.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. The app store, you have to go to the app store.
No, it's a QR code, and then it'll take you to a website.
Okay. So we can scan the QR.
Yes.
I got it.
Got it?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Alerts.
So if you go on the webpage, it's a portal, you type in Little Elm Alert, you'll go there and you just gotta fill in the thing, it's a text, it's SMS texting. So you could do that, you go in, so,
But if you've already signed up for a Little Owl account, you have to remember the password.
Yeah, 'cause but you can log, you can register, so when you go down, you have to register in the portal.
Yeah.
Or the website method, which you.
Yep, yep.
Either.
Okay.
Both ways.
And that's littleelm.org.
Yeah, littleelm.org,
Okay.
just type in Little Elm Alert, and
Yes, I
then
understand.
you'll find that in there too.
Yeah, probably put alert
That's
there.
awesome news.
So this alert does put an
Yes,
app on your phone, correct?
Little Elm Alert.
No, it just pushes an SMS text to your phone.
Oh, it texts,
Yeah.
it's a text alert.
Yeah.
Yeah, it pushes text.
Text alert, okay, good.
So it will
Alright.
email, text, and voice too. So depending on the situation, when I write the message, the messages come from me because I write them all out because they're in severe weather. So they'll come from me, and then they'll tell you what's going on, what's happening, and then what you should do about it. So basically, so
Cool.
if there's traffic alert, if there's major traffic up here, usually our public information person will handle that stuff. Or like the other, like severe weather, it's me, but like other issues and concerns up here on the 380 or whatever,
Oh.
that's
We
they'll
don't get,
send alerts out. So,
So,
or apparently they would send out messages that say 380 is closed due to an accident going west or something like that. They don't do that. We get that on Facebook
okay,
or
yeah,
neighborhood.
yeah, and again, there's different mechanisms, and it's
Yeah,
not,
but it's not official stuff. I was just passing, the gas station at 423 and 380, and 380 West is closed due to a horrendous accident.
there you go.
That's what we get. We don't get anything official telling us traffic.
okay, that's good, that's good to know.
Yeah, track.
Okay, that's
So
good to know.
traffic
I will
alerts
take
would
that
be
note
good.
back down to.
Yeah, because it would
Yeah.
be good to know if,
Okay.
you know, if 380 is closed in one spot, we won't go there.
Okay, so that's a great suggestion. I will let them know, be more cognizant to listen and have more messaging for you guys up here to know if there's any issues up here to put it out on
Well,
official.
380 directly dictates our lives.
Oh, I hear you, yeah.
And whether or not we go to 380. I mean, we make decisions based on how 380 is flowing.
So, one of my family members just had to evacuate from the wildfires
Yep.
in the Panhandle. So, you determine the evacuation route, or does that come from FEMA?
I don't know what's going up there, so I have no
No,
idea.
no, not up there. If it were to happen here,
Yeah.
you.
Well, let's do this. Let me get through some of this and then we'll
Okay,
have
I'm
some more
sorry,
questions. Yes.
no worries.
So here's some ground rules. If it pertains to like my slide, I'll take
Sure.
like great questions, but then at the end I'll take some general questions too. So
Okay.
we'll be here till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So you know what?
Okay.
Honestly, I'm between you and lunch. So if you want lunch, you know, or you can just get up and walk away. It's up to you guys too. But it's just here. So just another couple more points that I like to make on this slide.
Ray, go talk to the office.
If you don't, weather radio. Have a weather, again, have multiple ways of communication with weather radio. If you don't trust your phone will die. Weather radio, plug that in as a backup battery. Set it on, follow the instructions, YouTube. Great, have one of those up because if your phone dies, this is your backup. They'll wake you up in the middle of the night and tell you there's severe weather coming because you want to be woken up and to be notified. Yes, so that's very important. So let's move on here. Make a plan. Another important part of this whole overview. You know, how will I receive alerts? I think we beat that to death. You know, you want to have multiple ways to receive alerts. Don't let the severe weather be a surprise to you. No, I know we're getting in the severe weather season, which is from March through May-ish, but now we have severe weather anytime now, really. But the main brunt of it is through springtime, because of the unstable air. With all that too is, you know, have multiple ways. Be prepared with different backups if you have backups. So just don't rely on one way. Your phone, your media, your favorite news channel, internet, and also WIAs, the weather alert system, things like that would be also helpful. What is your shelter plan? That's the other thing. Are you going to shelter in place, or are you going to go to a shelter that's in the area? And the question to that is probably the majority of the time, and again, this is depending on situation, you would shelter in place because there's really nowhere to go in here. Unless you know you're in an area where unless the county or the city or somebody sets up a designated area. If you have a large swath of your area that's been destroyed, chances are there could be a shelter set up for that. But smaller population parts, you probably want to shelter in place and or find a friend to go to. One of the big things we like to, or one of the things we like to stress is, if you have ability to go to stay with a neighbor or a friend, so we would prefer that, because who really wants to live in a shelter if you don't have to? The accommodations are minimum, and it's just a challenging environment. So think about that. So again, shelter with your shelter plan. And same thing. Severe weather comes, where are you gonna shelter? You're gonna hide in your lowest part of your house, 4 walls, either your closet under your stairs if you have one, or in your bathroom. So that's another thing. Think about that for severe weather. Evacuation routes. Kind of talking on that again. In our area, we're in the metroplex. We're in a condensed, highly in area. Chances of actually leaving and going to place are probably slim, in my opinion, because if we again, there's caveats to that. Do we have a situation that warrants a certain section of a part of the city to go somewhere? Maybe not. I don't know, but there's, I think the risk of that. If we had a bigger area, if the whole Denton County had to evacuate or something, to evacuate the county, or something major happened with the county, in whole, what's the proper step to that? I don't have the answer right now because it's situation dependent. But time I've been here, over 10 years now, luckily we haven't had to have or a call for a major evacuation. But my assessment, depending on the situation, you most likely would shelter in place instead of evacuate, because again, you're gonna clog roads up, you're gonna run out of gas, so there's cascading issues to trying to evacuate. So as a whole, that would be something to consider. So if you have to shelter in place, what are some of the what are you gonna need to shelter in place? Extra food, water, batteries. Depending on the situation, you might have to tape up your windows. It all depends. Again, it's the situation dictates on what's gonna happen with that. You have a family communication plan. Are you, your loved ones and yourself? Do you have a place where are you gonna meet all at home if something happens? Are you gonna meet somewhere else? It's gonna happen. Do you have, if it happens in the house, are you gonna go to your neighbors? Are you gonna go to another relative? So work on your family communications plan, and then update your preparedness kit. There's some great examples of preparedness kits back in that back table is really great. Take an inventory if you don't have one. You can always prepare now, always start now. Go to the store, buy something once a month or once a week or whatever, and put it in a pack, store it, and always check up on that stuff, because it can go bad after a while, especially batteries and things like that. So very important. So again, when you make a plan, it just, you're going a full spectrum of what you need to do to prepare you and your family for emergencies and disasters. Any questions on this slide here? No. On there. So awesome.
Maybe a good time to make a comment. We have an away table back here if you have to leave your house. So we've got a kit back there for that, and we have ideas for if you have to stay in your house. And part of this is For Patriot. I got most of my stuff from forpatriot.com. So take some time to look at that table today.
Appreciate that, Bill. That's good. And one thing that's kind of jarred my mind looking at this is, again, a great example, Pac, when he has back there a flashlight. But here's another important part. What about medications and things like that? You always want to make sure you have. Yes, sir. Some stuff like.
Given my age, my attention span is about 2 minutes. Are these slides are going to be available on the internet so we can?
I will be able to share those. I will give them to you.
This presentation will also be on our Dell Web Union Park under Neighborhood Watch videos.
Great. Okay. Thank you.
Appreciate that. Yes, we will. Yes, if you want to share that on the slides, I can do that too.
Okay, sure. Yes.
Like that.
We have a place for it.
Yes, sir. In general, a lot of my information comes from ready.gov. If you haven't been there yet, ready.gov is probably one of the best places to go. It's the actual government, the FEMA website is really good. So a lot of stuff comes from there. They allow us to take it and kind of make it to what we want and then share it. But again, there's some good stuff on here. Another one that was great is Save for a Rainy Day. Financial documents. Make sure you have all your financial documents together. If not, try to save some money besides other, like emergency saving money, for that. Have cash on hand, as we talked about here, very important to have cash on hand, because again, everything goes down, the cash is king, right? So you're gonna at least keep some cash on hand for that. And then insurance documents, very important. Always review your insurance documents once a year or when it comes up. You don't wanna be underinsured. You wanna have that right amount of insurance. And then, so if there was ever a catastrophic issue up here and your house was destroyed through natural disasters or things like that, do you think FEMA's gonna come in and give you a bunch of money to rebuild?
No.
One thing, it's the government, so that's one thing. So that's federal government. Second, no, and this is an important question, and this, I don't know, you might have the answer, might not, but I'll lead you the way. Do you know why FEMA probably, would not consider giving funds? They'll give some funds, but not to directly, possibly not rebuild your house. Does anybody have any reasons why?
Is it the government?
Yeah, that's good, that's one point.
FEMA is not capable of rebuilding our house. That's for our insurance companies. What
There you go.
they do is make sure it's safe
Yes, sir.
and safe, secure, and there's one other one, I think.
You hit it on there. I might have rephrased that wrong, but Bill, you hit it on the head, is that you have insurance. So the expectations from the government is you will go do an insurance claim. Your insurance, you have enough insurance on your home to rebuild your home potentially. So that's why it's important to review your insurance and ensure you have enough coverage to that, because that's the pyramid of how recovery works during disasters. The city, depending if we have, we're declared a disaster and we get public assistance or individual assistance. Public assistance is for the city to rebuild back the infrastructure to the way it was just before the disaster. And so we get a certain amount of funds, in-kind funds, where we pay a certain amount, and FEMA, depends on the disaster declaration, pays that. But the other important side of that is, if the city or whatever, and we were given, in 2015, we were given individual assistance for major flooding here down on the lake. And so it was just a blanket declaration. What was interesting about that is we didn't have anybody that could claim individual assistance, because our town is mainly made up 90% of single family homes. And with that you have insurance. And so insurance is required. And so the FEMA, there could be some like immediate assistance that FEMA does give, like down on the hurricanes, they'll give you some like 500 or 1,000 to help you get that, but the majority is your insurance, yes.
I remember what it was: safe, secure, and sanitary.
Yeah.
So they'll come in and try to get your house to a point where if you want to stay there, you can, until the insurance company comes in and helps you.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
that would be that's all under individual assistance from their program. And again, that's the first thing they'll ask you is, do you have insurance? And so depending on your insurance, that's why it's important to keep your documentation, because you're gonna want to know your insurance. And hopefully your insurance will bring a mobile insurance person on the ground, and they'll be able to come in and give you a quick check to help get things rolling. But again, as I said, can't stress enough, especially in our area, is to have the appropriate insurance for your documentation. So again, this is important stuff. You can't do it right away. Always try to start where you can. So when you're doing that stuff, practice emergency drills. This is great. You have your community watch. You guys get together to do that, and also you can do family stuff. You've got fire. Your home fire escape, family meetings. You got another type of escaping there. You've got first aid. Water valve shut off, fire extinguisher. So again, it's important to be as a safe community. Does everybody know where to shut their water off at?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's good, because I hope you do it before the freezing from 2000.
Anybody does not know?
21. If you don't know, get with someone who knows how to do that, because it's very important to learn how to turn your water off. It will
Right.
save you so much headache, and all that stuff, because you don't want to have water damage and all that stuff like that. So very important. Also, your gas shut off. I hope you guys know where the gas shut off is. If not, have someone do that. And does everybody know you're not supposed to turn your gas back on without the gas coming out and turning it on, because of the way the gas pipes work. You don't want to have extra gas coming in the house. Learn how to use a fire extinguisher. For small fires, if you have keep a fire extinguisher in the house. So be ready in case you need to do that. Practice some first aid. Learn some basic first aid. Bill and I were talking about there. Have a tourniquet. Have some pressure bandages with you. You never know, what are some common accidents in a home? I'm using my handsaw or a skill saw and chop my finger off, or something like that, or your arm. You want to have a tourniquet or something, or someone can help, at least know where it is so you can stop the bleeding and wait for, the paramedics to come. So, the other thing is your power panel. Do you know how, where it's at and how to turn it off? So, again, these are just some of the general ideas on you guys in your head. Hey, this is what I need to. Maybe I should work on some of this stuff. Again, ready.gov. It's good. It's a good presentation. We talked about this. Your community, your family plan before, during, and after the disaster. Do you have something involved with that? Your contacts, out-of-state contacts. You have your doctors, schools, medical facilities. Which the big thing to use these days is the Facebook safety check. You want to let your family and friends know. You can go on there and say, hey, I'm safe from the wildfires, from the panhandles. So it's very important to check that out, especially these other contacts. Do you have all those other contacts that help make up your plan? There you go.
Yeah, so as we touched on before, it's very important to stay informed, and to do that, having multiple ways to receive the information is very good. So you can have multiple sources tell you what information is coming in. Social media is very important nowadays because they tell you the majority of the information that is coming in. Local news, they're always going to stay on top of it and try to let you know as soon as they know for emergency situations and weather and all that. Radio is also very important because just having those multiple means to it. Just internet searches as well, because just Google will tell you nowadays whenever they have severe weather in your area. Like they will tell you nowadays stuff like that. And emergency alert system as well, and wirelessly as well through the emergency alert WEAs. And then, as we touched on before, the weather radio that will give you information about the National Weather Service.
It's important to think these two here are on your phone, so you want to have those turned on your phone. You might get also the Amber Alerts are important too, but these two here will allow you because local and national. So the local, the Weather Service will push out EASs and nationals, the WEAs will push. It goes both ways. And you can't stress enough to have a weather radio. We'll talk about this, but this handheld radio also does weather too. So if you have one of these, in your kit, you can also get weather radio on those too. So again, can't harp on the previous slides. This slide here is have multiple ways to receive your weather alerts and not be surprised that there's a severe weather. Especially sirens go off, everybody runs outside to look and see if there's a funnel cloud or something like that in there. So you want to, again, you hear sirens, you run indoors and to take appropriate actions on there. Sometimes it might be clear, but sometimes there's a cell that could be coming in that direction inside that polygon. You'll do something on that?
You highlighted that radio. Is that the GFRS radio you were telling us?
GMRS, yes. That's
GMRS.
Yeah, General Mobile Radio System.
Okay.
So I'll touch on that a little bit more. But also, if you're a ham radio operator, things like that too, it's also good to have. They'll be able to do that too. Mm-hmm. We talked about, besides having the property, you want to safeguard your documents. Bill had some great examples back there about safeguarding waterproof. You want to have all your emergency contacts, IDs, financial docs, medical info. What are some other ways that you could safeguard the documents besides put them in a bag or waterproof bag? Does anybody have any suggestions on that?
Safe, fireproof, safe.
Very good. That's good. That's another good one. Would be another way of doing safeguarding some. Safe spot. Yes, I like that one.
Family.
Yep, that's good. And what's the most common thing that we do these days with our documents?
Take a picture of
Keep-
it.
Yep, document. Put them on a thumb drive. Stick them somewhere else, right? So that's another way. Put them on. To your point, I take. I need to take a picture of it. Keep it in my photos. I didn't know. So just in case you have it, just ma'am.
My daughter's car got egged this morning,
Ah.
and she doesn't live in Little Elm, but I said, did you note it? And she said, yes, I took a picture.
Yep.
That way it's dated and time
Yep.
stamped,
Yep.
and that's all she has to do. She doesn't have to have a bunch of paperwork about it.
I think, and that's a great point. But yes, Bill.
Would you recommend OneDrive?
Probably two. One is none, two is one, I always say.
Well, OneDrive is
Oh, OneDrive, yeah, I'm talking about Drive, yeah, OneDrive's good, in the
online
cloud.
backup.
The cloud is another one, if you
Yeah.
have it on the cloud and it's internet access. So again, you gotta think about that, what if you don't have internet access? So you might wanna put them on some sort of a thumb drive,
Drive.
so as I was going, one end is one, and two is
good.
one, you know, like that. So a couple months ago, my daughter's car got cheesed. Has anybody ever heard of cheese? That's the craziest thing in the world. Some people throw slices of cheese on cars. Apparently that's worse than egging, I guess. I had to go to the car wash, it took forever to get that crap, to get that stuff off, sorry.
Wow.
But yeah, to your point, he's kind of in charge.
Cheese.
Yeah, I don't know, some young, must be some, I don't know, you know anything about cheese cars? I don't know, must be some younger.
Well, I'm thinking American cheese.
Yes,
And it melted?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's the word, and I had to look it up on the internet, why are people cheesing cars, I don't know, so yeah, so you kind of sparred mine.
Yeah.
So you talk about egging, you're like, oh man, I got cheese.
Maybe they're trying to turn it into a Big Mac or something.
I don't know. But anyway, sorry for digressing. I thought it was just, not a big light of things. So yeah, so it's important. Also your medical info. Keep all that stuff handy and ready to go and safeguard your documents. Plan with neighbors, what you're doing now, this is great. You know, what do we do? We want to have communications. You want to assess assess risk. What are our risks in our area? Severe weather is probably our most prevalent one up here. Have a emergency plan for your neighborhood. You know, neighbor helping neighbors, always important. Assign roles, responsibilities, which you guys are doing now. You know, if you have a build emergency kit, that's also helpful to help your neighbor if they need something. You know, you might not have a tool to turn off your water or your gas, but your neighbor might have it. So it's always good to get with your neighbor. We talk about staying informed. Talk about practicing drills. Network, what you guys are doing, yeah, this is great. Establish a network, and here's the other part, collaborate with locals. That's great. You'll have myself come up here and brief, get with the fire department, have them come do checks. Did you know the fire department will come and help with your smoke alarms?
Yes.
So if you have problems changing batteries in the high ones, yes.
We feed the fire department,
So there you go.
our local fire station.
Yes.
We like to take them.
Awesome. So don't forget that helped out too. You know, again, I fell victim too. I let my batteries go awry, and at 2 o'clock in the morning, right? That's when they start chirping, right? And at 2 o'clock in the morning, they start chirping at you. But then if you have, I'm sure your house, like my house does, they're all connected. So then one starts chirping, all 10 start chirping. So now you're running around the house trying to take a baseball bat, knocking them damn things, knocking those things out of knocking them down. So I fell victim to that. So I'm sure my lack of, so even though I do my job or my lack of planning, I should have done a better job of looking at the fire, going, hey, spring or fall or whatever, or know when you need to change your batteries out. This helps, protect you and your family in case there's and don't ever leave the fire. And I'm good at this. If you take them down to change out batteries, put them right back up. If you don't, you have an ugly hole in your wall, and then now you can have issues with your, with not saving your family with fire, with smoke alarms and carbon monoxide detectors. And here's another important part: regularly review and update your documentation, your plans, and things like that, because you want to make sure that you have those up to date. Things change, situations change, family, things happen with family. So that's very important to make sure that's all up and ready to go. Make your home safe. Another thing we talked about here. We talked about utilities, first aid kit, prepare for power outages, and have a severe weather safe room. So if you don't have a severe weather safe room, I would now is time. Clean out your closet, clean out and find, review where you need to go. Let me ask this: so if you have a safe room, what items would you think would be safe to put in that safe room in case there's maybe if you ever have to use it? Any suggestions? Yes.
A bug out bag.
That's good. That's got a lot of stuff.
A flashlight.
Yep.
I put my riding helmet on in it, just in case.
Yes. Yeah. So studies have shown, like more Oklahoma and some of these other severe tornadoes that leveled homes. Again, the most interior home, lowest floor, most of your closet or bathtub will keep you safe. But they found out that having supply gloves, shoes, make sure you keep a pair of shoes in there, a helmet, because what happens if you have to dig yourself out of the debris? So it might be something. Yes, ma'am.
I've always kept sea rations. Being in the military.
Yes, ma'am.
Keep 1 or 2 of those around.
Yes, ma'am. Those are all have some extra food and water in them.
Yep.
But the most important thing with that is rotate that stuff, you know, or well, C rations will last a long, well, gosh, depending on which ones you buy, they'll last you 50, 60 years, I guess, depending on what you got, so. But yeah, so no, it's important. That's one thing that people don't think about is they'll clean their closets out or their safe space, but they forget to put basic, you know, you can go buy some, you know, basic, you know, go to the Dollar Tree or something like that and get some basic gloves that don't, you know, that can handle debris, have a flashlight in there, some light, maybe a power bank, just something. And what I like to do is sprinkle that stuff around, you know, like I want my most important stuff in here, but I'll put, like in my bedroom, I'll have flashlights and some other stuff. So spread loading that stuff's pretty good. So in case you need it, you're not thinking about it. You can go where you need to go, and it's right there in a bag, ready to go. You know, so it's good. Some glow sticks, maybe, I don't know, things like that. So yeah, so it's good to have that stuff ready to go. We talked about this, how would you leave if you had to, so just keep that in mind. The big thing with evacuations, you know, I'm not gonna harp on this anymore, is just know the situation and see what the officials want you to do. That's the big, shelter in place or get in your car and go. Because again, that's a huge cascading issue with that, and there's a lot of decisions that go with that. So if you're told to leave, probably just like the hurricane stuff down there, and then leave 72, 4 or 5 days earlier, leave, because this way you avoid all those traffic, get gas. You're not sitting in miles and miles I grew up in Florida, so I've been in many hurricanes down there, and I remember when I was younger, I had sitting in traffic, cars break down and things like that. So definitely think of those conditions. It's basically stay informed, what we talked about. Here we go.
Yeah.
This is a good point.
So a very important thing to do is build an emergency kit. And here's some key considerations for stuff to put in there. First, emergency contacts, as I touched on, those are very important to be able to have people to reach out for and help you, or maybe just rent a place to stay. Several days of food and water, several days of medication, important documents such as insurance and just medical documents, assistive devices. If you use hearing aids, maybe extra batteries for your hearing aids, or if you have glasses, an extra pair of glasses, because that happens if you misplace them or lose them or break them. It's always good to have an extra one. And backup batteries for technology such as cell phone and medical equipment. So maybe one of the portable chargers, and then maybe just have one of those and they're ready to go, so your phone can help you, or you can stay on, so it can help you throughout the whole situation. Financial resources, such as we said, cash is important. Bank documentation is also very important. A flashlight is a very good thing to have, and then radios as well. If you could find a radio put in there, it'd be very helpful to hear information and be able to make decisions based on that.
You brought up some great points. I like to stress on the adaptive devices, and that if you're in a situation, you have a loved one or yourself, you might need an oxygen generator. You might have a wheelchair or a motorized wheelchair, things like that. If power goes out, how are you going to operate that stuff? You have backup, you have extra oxygen tanks, you have an oxygen generator, you have a generator, and things like that. So those are some of the other things besides the basics of having a kit that you have. But if you have some unique situations or special things that you need to consider, definitely talk to your provider, talk to your medical or whatnot, or I don't know, Facebook Marketplace, got a lot of good stuff on there sometimes. You can go on there and pull stuff off there and find some extra stuff. So that's another important part. Now I was talking to Bill back there. Another thing that came up recently is if you're not a ham radio operator, that's a fun hobby to get into. You can get into 2 meter, and all the 5 meter, all that stuff like that. My job allows me to be a ham radio operator because in our EOC, again, if cell phone goes down and our public safety radios go down, we've got ham radio. So I have myself or a ham radio operator will come in and do emergency communications. But nowadays, this is within the last 2 years, and the reason why I was showing this is we had a missing child up here on 380 about a couple weeks ago that was found in the morning. So my ham radio guys with CERT came out and they were looking around, and so I was talking to my CERT officer, and he's like, "Well, what, are you guys on ham? Are you using the ham radios?" Oh no, we're on GMRS, General Mobile Radio System, which is one of these. This is $30 off of Amazon, and all you need to do is there's different versions of these. You can go on the FCC website, type in GMRS radio, and what you can do is you can get a license for $35. It'll last you for 10 years. they'll give you a call sign, and it's good for your whole family. So if I have a family of 4, I can buy 4 of these radios, and as long as you sit on there and say Travis W, whatever my call sign is, Travis WASR 570 safe at this location, and then if Justin, you say, hey, this is Justin WSR, I'm over here. So you could use these. So it's basically, it's CB, kind of a CB thing what truckers do, but it's more structured through the government now. But yeah, these are a big thing. So on YouTube, on everywhere, you can learn how to use these and buy one of these. Plus, it also has weather on here too.
Okay.
So you can go to the Weather Channel. You'll have the NOAA weather radio will be on this too. So it's pretty. So I would highly suggest if you have a preparedness kit to consider one of these radios. Yes, sir.
If you already have a ham radio license, do you have to get a separate license for
Yes,
this?
great question.
Okay.
So it makes you create a profile. So I have a ham license and I have my GMRS license in there too now. They're both 10 years. But this is so simple. There's no test. You just pay for it. Just pay for the license. Go on Amazon, buy one of those, and then there you go. And then this way, if you want to communicate with friends and your family or your neighborhood, when disaster strikes, you'll be able to have communications points set up too. That's been very good.
What distance does it cover?
Well, it depends on the strength. So I don't remember the strength of these, but these will cover. I have a longer antenna on here. It's just about a little mile or more. I don't know. I think it's up to 5 miles maybe on this antenna. Oh, so let me back up. The good thing is that we have repeaters
There you go.
on our towers. So what happens is I can sit here and do my call sign, and I can call a friend that's probably 10 miles away on the same repeater. But you have to have this, so you have to know the frequencies and things like that. But good for you, I'll show you here in a little bit. There are clubs that have the frequencies on there, or you can go to Google and you can find your frequency for the area for. There's like a general communications and there's like an emergency communications on there that you could use too. So I would highly recommend to get these radios if you haven't had one. You have a question over
Yeah, that was my point, what the range was.
Yes, they're VHF radios, and it's line of sight for the most part. But the thing is, we have repeaters, so we just put the club, the county amateur radio club, just put a repeater on the big tower down in Little Elm off Little Elm Parkway.
Oh, good.
So we have a new tower. So it happens. So they're broadening the GMRS receivers, and so now again, you can't stress that. I talked to them. Like, hey, when you start talking to people, stress enough to get these GMRS radios because they're good for emergencies and things like that too. So highly recommend those.
Where do you go to register or
FCC website.
FCC?
Yes.
FCC.
You just go to Google and type in GMRS radio registration. It will take you to the FCC website. Yeah, that's a great point. There's other websites that will take your money, so make sure you're on the official government website. Don't get bamboozled and go to a fake website. Don't do that. So that's a big thing I want to harp on is that too.
So-
And these things will last. Yes,
So if
sir.
it says sponsored, don't use that.
Yeah, don't. Just try to make sure you go to the regular website. There again, unfortunately, everybody's trying to make a buck these days, and there's, if it's new or whatever, they'll try to. You don't want to go through that third party, pay more money just to go through the FCC. So it's I did it a couple weeks ago, so it's pretty easy.
I just typed in GMRS and it brought up the FCC website,
Okay,
Perfect.
fcc.gov.
awesome. Yep, there you go, man. That's perfect. That's perfect. So again, this set I had this radio came with this mic. You can take it off. I had an extra battery, a data cable to download to get on the computer, and if you're savvy, download the frequencies on there, and then it will load up, and like I said, you'll have this in your kit. So I definitely highly recommend doing that. Let's see. Talked about that already. Maintaining your stuff. Always check your stuff. Talked about storage there a little bit. Home, working car. Definitely for traveling, you want to have items in there. So think about, I'm going someplace. Am I going in the snow? Am I going out to high desert? I'm traveling long distance. Just make sure you have the appropriate stuff that you say water, gallon of water, extra batteries, all your car safety stuff too. And maybe if you still have a workplace, you go there, just have some extra flashlight, things like that to go there. And then another part here, which you guys do now, get involved.
Fire marshal.
CERT, if you're not part of the county CERT, very important to do that.
He's already been here.
Oh.
Amateur radio is always good to hop on. There's other, if you go to this website, it'll give you some other ones. MRC, these are our big three that we have in our county. If you're not part of those yet, I'd highly recommend. They're a great organization, especially the CERT. CERT's good to have, be on part of that too. So definitely, again, volunteer with these, train, as you guys are doing now. Have a quarterly or yearly training, or every 6 months training, do a little bit of training. All right, we're gonna talk about radios today, or we're gonna talk about this, something that's easy going, and then if not, you can also donate to help out too. So there's some great organizations to help out. Talked about this already, so we're good on this one. We'll talk about pictures, insurance, review and update. Here's another one I like to talk about, pets. Pets is very important. Ensure you have microchip, vaccine docs, pictures, and you see the shelter, and then have a kit for them too. Medication, just like us. We want to have the same exact stuff for the pets. Is there anything I'm missing from that you want to cover your pet for? Yes.
Stickers for your doors, your windows.
I'm sorry, second.
Stickers for your windows or doors to let fire.
That's great too. No, that's a great point. That's a great point on there too. Yes, you want to let them know so if they come in, they can do that too. So no, those are all great suggestions. I can't believe I didn't put food on it. I think I thought about food up ahead, but I didn't think about it. So the pot these are just some of the most important stuff. Because you don't want to lose a dog or lose your pet, and then they can't find it properly. Because we don't know that's a whole other thing. So definitely prepare for that. This other important part I like to talk about. So in general, we do, again, my position is whole community, to engage the whole community and talk about different issues and concerns, help build resiliency and things like that. This is another important part, is not everybody is capable of getting out on their own or doing things on their own. So I highly recommend, if you have family members or neighbors that might meet one of these issues where they're mobility challenged, or they have hearing, or maybe they have cognitive issues, or something like that. You definitely have, take this stuff up here in consideration, especially when it comes to, disaster. And the other good thing that we do is it's mandated by the state is we've got this thing. It's on my website. You guys are just onto, or this QR code. You can sign up here, or you have a loved one, or yourself, or someone that needs help. You sign up here, and an official from the city, either police, fire, or something. If you're out of power or gas or declared disaster, and if you're, we will come to that person's home to check up on them, to make sure that they are safe. If there's a major, like a power outage or a gas outage or something that's declared disaster that we have to come, and you don't have any energy for a certain amount of time, we will send an official up here to or to your neighborhood to check on those people that are registered here. So we get the registration. It's safe. We don't it's a secure location. Fill it out, and then if it's an issue, we will definitely come up here. Talk about this a little bit. We just got these sirens in, so we got 13. I have siren facts on my webpage. We talked about the future. We talked about testing and activation. Is there any other questions on?
The 2 new towers, will they be active by the first Wednesday?
That's my goal. I'm at the whim of the contractor.
Okay.
So I'm at the whim. So we will, I already talked to my public information officer, our communications. If it's not, we will let everybody know that those sirens are not activated, and we will go with their original ones. But once they're activated or they're working, we will send out a public information to everyone across town. So we will definitely let everybody know. And so with the sirens, we just harp on the sirens a little more. Again, these are 1950s mechanical sirens. They're really the back history is civil defense, nuclear attacks, and things like that. Here in our area, again, if you go to Oklahoma, I think they call tornado sirens up there. Here in the Metroplex, we call them outdoor warning sirens. Because anything, they could be utilized for anything. And the basic for them is just to let anybody outside know what's going on. Hey, there's an issue. You might be running and didn't even know what's going on, but we're trying to cover all areas. So if you hear those sirens go off, seek shelter, seek information, and be prepared to take action. That's really the basis. You don't really want to wait. I tell everybody, don't wait for the sirens to go off and take any action. You want to know that weather's coming. When the sirens go off, it's pretty much last minute deal. We're about to get hit by something, and again, it's challenging to cover because I got to cover this up and down, and we might have weather here, but not up here. But if I activate the sirens, it's more or less for these people down here, but not up here. Or there's a cell coming behind. So there's an art to activating the sirens of what's going on. So, and again, normally when we activate a siren, we'll send out a message behind it, either on Facebook or the one alert. Yes.
To that point, can you activate sirens just in certain locations and not the whole system?
I can, but depends on the warning. So if I'm in a polygon, sometimes, and if there's a big swath, again, I'm not a weather guy, and so
Yeah, you have to follow whatever they
out
tell
of
you.
caution,
Yeah.
I'll usually do the whole city
Okay.
because I really don't know where it's going to end up having. So I don't want to be the guy just to activate this, but then there's no hail here, and then they miscalculated, the hail ends up over here. You know what I'm saying? So I typically my unless we know for sure that this cell has a tornado in it and it's going along 380, I know up there to activate that. But if I know we've got storms coming through and they predict hail here, but then the hail really hits up here, and I don't activate sirens, then I just and then I'll get nasty messages on Facebook to fire.
Yeah, all hail breaks loose, right?
Yeah. They've been told I should be fired like 1 million times on Facebook, so, oh, what are you doing? You don't know what you're doing. And I'm like, everybody's a keyboard warrior, so. So it's important. So tell your friends, tell your neighbors, go on my website. Again, so the sirens, they're only like a 4,000 foot radius. So we have gaps we're still working on. So again, if you live next to one, chances are you're gonna hear the siren. But if you're like half a mile away, you might hear, then you're like, you might hear the different sirens going off. But also it's weather dependent. So here's the other thing that's interesting is I tell people, if I've got winds and hail coming in and I'm sounding sirens, that wind will cover those sirens up anyhow. You might hear on one side, you'll hear it on the back end, you'll hear the sound, but then when it faces that siren, the wind hitting that, you're not gonna hear anything. So that's why I get frustrated is people harp on why are you not sounding sirens, or why are the sirens not going off? Because they're not all the end of the be all. They're like you said, to help people out doing. So anyway, that's my soapbox on the sirens. Yes, they're a tool. They're not. We have multiple tools for warning, but that tool can be utilized, for outdoor stuff. So, take action and be prepared. Here's some links and that. But I have the fire marshal here is going to come up here in about. Or Bill, do you want to? Or do you want? Are you ready? Or wait. Is there any questions before I invite the fire marshal up here from preparedness? He's going to talk about fire safety and stuff.
And before he does that, one last thing about our website. We got a question of who's my block captain. If you'll go on the website, you'll pull up the map and just find one of the block captains. They're all indicated on the map. They all have an address in there as well. We've got a Excel spreadsheet on there. So find your closest block captain if you need to talk to him, or if you want to coordinate with them or meet them or anything. That information's on the website at delwebunionpark.com.
We'll be around.
Excuse me, do you, your department cover cybersecurity?
No.
Who does?
IT department. Do you have a specific question about cybersecurity?
Well, we're having more frequent cyber attacks, so.
We've had there's a whole thing on our website about cybersecurity. We had a guy come out here. It was a fantastic presentation. Go watch that if you would.
Okay.
Also,
Yeah,
if your ID's been stolen or something criminal's been happening, you make a police report.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Police report. So.
Yeah.
Is there any other question about emergency preparedness before we hand it over to the very fire marshal here?
Ladies
I'll be here for a couple minutes afterwards, so you guys can chat, but.
You gotta put on my jacket.
Oh, you put on your jacket? Okay.
Look great.
ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome James Conner.
Apologize, I found one of those raspberry Jolly Ranchers in the bowl. I couldn't keep my finger. So, and I hate to get rid. Oh, there's a trash can. I was like, I'm not gonna put it in my pocket. So my name is James Conner. I'm the fire marshal for the town of Little Elm. I've worked for the fire department here for just over 19 years. October 21st, actually, I know exactly. I live nearby here, live in Sandbrook Ranch, right off 1385. And I've seen Little Elm go from 0 to now we serve almost 100,000 people. So it's been an interesting growth. So I'm gonna talk about a couple of things real quick, and then we'll talk about some kitchen safety. So somebody mentioned cyber attack. So one of the things that I have personally been affected by, my family, had about $90,000, I say stolen but it was technically given away. But let's talk about that for a second because you mentioned it. So one of the new things, it's not new. Okay, the internet is full of people who say they are who they aren't, okay? And I just got a phone call from my mother-in-law the other day, like, hey, this guy says, first of all, if somebody asks you to go to the store and get money, hang up the phone, okay? I'm just throwing it out there. Just hang up the phone. What I would tell you is this. This is the one that got my wife's grandparents. Stepson went to the military. They called, hey, we have your family member who's in the military. Well, they thought it was real. Bless their hearts. They had no idea. And scammed out of like $80,000. Okay? So here's what I would tell you. Between you and your family, find a safe word. We got Johnny. Then ask Johnny what the safe word is. I'm gonna kill him. Just hang up the phone. It's not real. It's not real. It's not real. Just hang up the phone and be like, dodge that bullet. Let me tell everybody, right? Come up with a safe word. I don't know. I say Oklahoma all the time because I don't like to say bad words like active shooter when I'm walking through a school talking about school safety. So I say Oklahoma because then it doesn't happen. But whatever that is for you guys, have that safe word, especially over the phone. Don't say anything to anybody over the phone. The other one that gets people is, I'll buy your gift card. Just punch the numbers in so I can verify it's real. Gift card gone. Gift card gone. Okay, it happened to actually somebody we work with. I'm like, that was not smart, Bubba. So, but just, look, if they're calling you over the phone and want something from you, it's probably too good to be true, okay? And if it's on Facebook, I just wouldn't believe it, all right? So, I just say that it's happened to my family. I speak about it, a little bit more in depth sometimes at the senior center. But the bank has seen problems. If somebody asks you to put something on a green card, just don't. So, anyway. So he mentioned about the warning sirens. I'm sure he mentioned there's apps on the phone. You can buy a radio next to your bed. There's 100 things you can do. I teach this to kids. And when I say kids, I mean 5 years old and up. Safety is your responsibility. The siren is a device to help. It's not the answer to the problem, okay? Now, I listen to the siren too, because I'm like, let the siren going off, because I don't have one where I live. But I also have a radio at home. I get the calls on my cell phone. I probably got to go to work. So, I mean, I have that advantage. But there are so many things you can do. The news, they love to talk about disaster coming. So they'll talk about it for a week, right? So have that plan together. The other part is, let's say we have a worst case scenario and a tornado blows through Del Webb and it wipes out 50 houses because it was, a mile wide. It's gonna take time to get to you. There's only so many of us. And if it was just Del Webb that had the problem, then other agencies coming is okay. But the other agencies, they're gonna have trees down, power lines down, their own communication problems, just their own problems trying to get here to help us. So you have to be prepared to take care of yourself for a little bit of time, right? So just remember that. And it's not to scare, it's just that's a reality that sometimes nobody ever wants to say to someone, right? And if you say it on Facebook, I'll lose my account, but that's a joke. But you just be ready for it, right? My wife's like, do we have to keep this water in the closet? And then she texted me one night, hey, that tornado got close. Yeah, it did. I'm sure we had water in the closet. I know, it's wonderful. So, but I'm from New Orleans, so I grew up with stored water around my house all the time because we were always in the middle of some hurricane flooding us out of everything. I'll speak to that a little bit too. So my family, is from New Orleans, and our hometown actually got hit worse than the city of New Orleans with flood. And when it comes to important documents, I would keep them in one place, keep them in something that's fire safe, or at least fire rated, in a place that you can access them, right? Marriage, birth certificate, social security card, passports, things like that, because my family left, and they left it all on the bottom floor. And then it floated to the ceiling and moved across the house and out into the street. So just keep those things, probably not gonna have that problem here, but keep those things close to you, because if we did have a disaster, those are the things you need to prove that you are who you say you are, especially when it comes to getting your medicine. That was the hardest thing for my family to do, was like, guess what happened to Walgreens? Now the systems are a little bit better, so the Walgreens in New York can just look up your prescription, but it wasn't like that then. And if you use a local pharmacy, it's even more difficult. So just something to keep a copy of prescriptions. Let you know how many are. Save the label that comes off of the package, cut it out and put it with your important papers. So then you know exactly how much it was, the doctor who wrote it, where you were filling it, you have the number, all those things. Because if you're like me, I like the one bottle I have, and it's easy to get the lid off all the time, so I just dump them into the bottle I like.
I use Kroger and they keep all that information
Yes,
for
they
me.
do, and they do good at it, but
Yeah, so if you're using a national
if you're using a
system,
national system, you should be okay.
as long as you can prove who you are.
Yes, I
Unless
just,
the internet goes down.
Well, and
yeah, and
that's,
that's where, that's
That is
where
an
it gets,
yeah,
and listen,
that is
we're in the what if business, so I'm like, I what if things to death all the time, and that's why I say just keep a copy, because that was the hardest thing for my family, was getting prescriptions, and if it's something you gotta have, and.
well, and our doctor, every time we go for an annual visit, he prints out a sheet.
Yeah, just maintain that document. All right, let's transition documents into some medical things. So one of the things we run across a lot is if we respond to your home for a medical incident and you're home by yourself and you have serious medical problems, we don't know who to call and we don't know what they are, okay? So there's a few things you can do. There's all kinds of things on the internet you can buy. You can buy a bottle and stick it in your fridge, but you gotta have a sign. So you gotta put something somewhere. Typically, guys will look in the kitchen, because a lot of times people post things on the refrigerator. Like, hey, here are my contacts. They keep something by the front door.
Good idea.
Just if you're somebody and you have that problem, or you just had a liver transplant or a heart transplant or whatever it is, some serious medical condition, tell somebody so that we know that that's what's happening, because you may have to go to a special hospital, and we hate to delay that care or not give you something because we just don't know that you need. And so just something to think about. You write all that important information down on a piece of paper, keep it someplace that you know in the house, and you can post it, a sign somewhere, tell a neighbor, hey, I keep my information here, or, here's a list of my medicines. It's not always best to give us all of your medicine and take it to the hospital, because sometimes things get lost, and then now you're out of a prescription. So, but if you write them down, I don't have to take them with me. In the if you're gonna be at the hospital for an extended period of time, they have a pharmacy, so they can get you those, okay? But, especially if you have something, that is a rare disease, or you have a cancer, or you're, anything like that, if you can write down that information somewhere and put it, a note on the fridge, hey, this is my emergency contact, call this person, that always helps us. All right, smoke detectors. So we get these questions a lot. And so typically your batteries, I don't want to say this out loud, they usually last longer than 6 months. Okay, that's the good news. So, but you are supposed to change them every 6 months. And we run across it all the time. People don't. It's okay. What will happen to your smoke detector is, I promise you, they go out at 3 o'clock in the morning, because it's never convenient for you, right? And when one of them chirps, assume they are all going to chirp at 3 o'clock in the morning each day of the week until you change each of them, right? As a joke a little bit. No, nothing. Because that's what happens at my house. And then it happens when I'm on shift and my wife has to go do it by herself. So, but that's when everything breaks in my house. But you can call us. We'll come out and help you change them. If you have a question, they do go bad. Good luck reading the little label on the back. But they do have dates and they last about 10 years. And so they do go bad. We'll be happy to help you replace them if you need it. The other big question I get a lot are people ask about trips and falls. So there are a few things. I have a rug in my house that I've slipped on 2 or 3 times because it's not taped to the floor and it's raised up about this high. And my dog loves to run on it and slide. And so she moves it and I trip on it. Okay, I should tape my own rug down. I swear, I'm like, I tell my wife, I'm taping this rug down. But you can tape your rugs down. Don't buy rugs that are real high. Don't run power cords underneath your rugs to avoid a trip hazard. That's a good way to have a fire, right? If you step on that cord enough or it twists enough, you can wear the wires down enough that it could potentially cause a problem. Shoes in the house. People ask this all the time. If you have dry floors like I have, and I have had my shoes off during the summer for a long time, my feet are like, it's like ice on the floor, right? Wear some type of shoe, wear some type of house slipper that keeps your foot stable, goes around your heel, so that you don't have that trip and fall hazard, okay? Because you can slip on the floor, just your skin on the floor can cause a slip. And if you have a rug like I have, it leads to total disaster. So, those are some things we talk about a lot too. The next big thing I get are, should I have a fire blanket or a fire extinguisher? So I'll talk about that. My answer is fire extinguisher, and I'll share with you why. I don't have to stand next to it if it's on fire. Put the blanket over it, all right? That's one. The blanket does have its place, and it is good for some things. It just don't make it your go-to, because if the fire is bigger than you thought, and you only ever plan to use a blanket, and you can't get close enough to put the blanket on it,
You're in trouble.
yeah, it's not gonna help you. Now, if it's something small, grease, cooking fire, something small like that, absolutely, they work great. You just practice with a blanket. If you can pull the blanket out, you gotta read the label, because some of them don't want you to open it until the moment of a fire. But if you can, open it up. What's it look like? How does it open? How do I prepare it to throw open? A fire extinguisher makes a mess, I'm not gonna lie. You're gonna have white or yellow powder everywhere, okay? That's okay. What you and I have a extinguisher prop we can come back out with one day. It's just not a good day with the wind, it'll blow the fire out. But you don't wanna stand, if this is your pot on fire, you don't wanna stand with the fire extinguisher right here, because you're just gonna blow it like the pot's gonna knock over, because it comes out with some force. It's designed to stand back and spray, okay? So don't be afraid. You can spray it from 4 feet. If it's not working, you can get a little closer. But what you don't want to do is spray it go everywhere, and now you're wearing it, and now we have a bigger problem. Okay, seen that too. The other one I see is, and I say this is a loving joke, is the "I got this" fire. Okay. This is always a term you hear a new guy say right before we break something at the firehouse. I got this, boss. No, you don't. I got this fire. We run these, and I got the grease pan is on fire. I got it. I'm gonna carry it to the door with no shoes on, right? It's on fire. My heart rate is not what it is right now. My heart rate is probably like 130, 140. So my hand's going like this, and I'm gonna take it all the way over to the back door. Meanwhile, it's still on fire and bubbling. I'm gonna open the door, throw it outside. Don't do that. Get a blanket, get a sheet, get a pan, have something you can put on top of it, leave it on the stove, go outside, call 911. If we come out and there's nothing there, great. You get some good photos, the neighbors get to ask you what happened. It's way better than I got this fire, okay? Because unfortunately, you can end up spilling the grease on yourself.
Yes.
And you end up in a whole other problem, all right? So just be ready. Another good thing to do, I'm guilty of this too, is I've put stuff on my stove and then I forgot this fire, right? So I end up burning grease because I forgot I turned it on, right? And so put a timer on your phone, set a timer near something. When I put something on the stove, I turn the timer on. So I left the stove on, right? So just something to think about, and keep a little egg timer next to the stove. If you start boiling something, like I know if I'm cooking, like if I'm frying fish on my stove, it takes a while for the grease to get to a certain temperature. So I'll turn the timer on, because I will go and sit down and watch football and be like, oh no, what's that grease smell? Oh, I was cooking fish and I forgot, right? So just something you can do there. Let's talk about pets. All right, I would not want to leave my dogs in my house if my house was on fire, okay? But I'm just gonna tell you, it's not gonna be easy to get your dog out if the house is on fire, all right? Johnny or Tommy is not gonna come running right when you call them, because they're scared too, right? Now, chances are they're gonna wake you up because they know something's not right, and it puts them in a little bit of a panic. A lot of animals run and hide, okay? Please, get yourself out. You can tell us where it is, and we will do our best to go find the animal, all right? But a lot of times, especially with cats, is really we'll only have a hard time with, because cats just like to run and hide whenever they get scared. They're hard to find. So a lot of people are like, oh, I'm gonna leave my doors open so my dog can get out. That's not the best idea. And the reason is, if you leave your door open in the front and then you open your back door, you've just created this perfect wave of wind tunnel. Yeah. So the fire is going to grow as big as the air that's available, right? So if we set a fire, first of all, we don't set fires. But if a fire started in the corner, I gotta be careful, this is being recorded. So if we started a fire in the corner, eventually the fire is gonna go out in this room because there's no more oxygen or there's no more fuel. But if I leave the doors open, that fire is gonna go for a while because it's got plenty of oxygen for the fuel that's in here. So just something to think about. What else was there? Oh, running our car. Do y'all have garages?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, running cars in garages in the winter. I love my wife to death, but it's like, no, can't do that. That's another thing people forget, is they will run their cars in their garage to warm up their car before they get in it to leave because it's cold outside, although it's not really that big of a problem here because we only have like 4 days of frozen weather a year, except today. So I walked outside this morning, I was like, it was 90 degrees yesterday. Just not a good practice, guys. You can leave your car running, you can forget. You can leave it running in the garage, open the door, and just fill the house up with carbon monoxide and then leave. And there's still gonna be carbon monoxide in your house. Okay, so those carbon monoxide detectors, they are wonderful, but that gas is heavier than air, okay? So it's gonna go to the ground and then go up and set off the detector, all right? And so, there are some things you can do if that's something you're worried about. We let people know there's some you can buy that you can plug into outlets. I just never suggest it if you have grandkids or little kids who come by the house, because it's easy for them to pull out and then, of course, stick their finger in the electrical outlet, although I only did that once.
Right.
My parents let me learn the hard way. I don't think they did it on purpose. I did, but the ones that plug into your wall, they chirp and make a separate sound, but it's not gonna set everything off in your house, okay? So it's nice to keep near the garage or near the front door, especially if you're somebody who runs their car inside, because it's gonna go off and make noise before, right? The other place we run into CO problems are fireplaces. So if you're somebody who closes their flume, right, because it creates a draft in your house, I close mine, you have to remember to open it before you start using your fireplace, okay? I bet we do 10 or 12 of those calls a year. Somebody's house fills up with smoke because they forgot to open their flume. Do y'all anybody have a wood burning fireplace in their house?
No.
Not here.
That's good. If you use wood burning fireplace, you have to really watch the fire load. I've been to a few houses that caught fire because they put a whole yard of lumber, like 15 pieces in their house. They burned and then rolled out, caught the house on fire, so just be careful. Trying to think, make sure. Oh, the other one we get, and I don't wanna add to your expenses, but dryer vents. If you've lived in your house for a few years and you've been using the dryer, it's a good idea to have them cleaned occasionally. There's not really a recommendation out there, but your dryer can fill with lint, and that can be a problem, especially if anybody have a gas operated dryer? Most people don't anymore, do you? So those tend to get real hot sometimes. They've gotten better over the years, but it's just something you should consider having cleaned occasionally. Now I say occasionally, probably not every year, but every few years.
Have you heard about the concept with the leaf blower? Where you take the vent off of the dryer, get into the wall, and turn the leaf blower on and blow it out.
This is easy to do yourself if you have some, if you want to go buy the wire and the cord and just plug your dryer, you can do that. You just got to make sure it blows out. And so not all dryers are engineered the same way. So your house may be a little different. Sometimes that dryer vent goes straight up and out. Sometimes it goes up and cuts over. So it just depends. It's usually best if you can have somebody sneak it. They usually come into your house and do it from the inside. And again, it's not something you have to have done every year. But if you lived in your house for 5 years, it might be, if you do a lot of laundry like I do, it's probably a good idea. So especially if you have a dog. And I have had 2 great here in the last 5 years, so mine was pretty great. I don't think that covers it. I think that covers it. Oh, anybody have something they like to burn in their backyard, like a chimenea, or like occasionally they like to have a little fire in their backyard and just sit around and enjoy it, besides me? Yeah. So fire pits. They are allowed in town. There are some buts, right? And so if everybody ever tell you the but right after the but, the truth is before the but. Like, James, we love you. You're a great employee. You've worked here 10 years. But we need to talk about last week. It's like, you just lied to me, right? So the but with the fireplaces are, they have to be 10 feet from your house, 10 feet from your fences. It's best if you put some type of cover over it, although it's not required. But then you have to watch what you burn. So you can burn wood, but you can't burn branches. Like, you can't trim your tree and then be like, oh, I cut it up and put it in my little fire. That's different than wood that you buy. I mean, I like my burn pit. The other part you have to be careful of is are you leaving it attended or unattended? Right? So make sure you put it all the way out. If you do that, they cause problems a day later sometimes. Grilling. So this is one I did hard way. I put my grill right up against my house.
Oh no.
And then left the grill on. Yeah, bad idea. So I have some new brick. It's just a different color. I like it. I know better. I'm like, I don't know what I was thinking. That's another thing. I have to leave a timer. I have to put a timer. Like, because the last thing you want to do is leave your outside grill on. If it's far enough away from the house, you're probably okay. But if you have one of these beautiful patios, somebody built a grill underneath it, it's just make sure you turn it off. Okay? I don't think that's it. Anybody have questions? Oh, I love questions. Go ahead. I do.
You were talking about the carbon dioxide
Mm-hmm.
detectors. I heard that, like you said, carbon dioxide is low first before it reaches up. Well, if I'm sleeping and then all of a sudden I get all this carbon and I'm waiting for it to breathe out this deal and you're dead.
The good news is, somebody at the government said there's an acceptable level to live in, okay? And so your CO detectors is designed to go off at a threshold that's still safe for you to be inside the home. That makes sense.
One that was lower,
I did too. I do too. Yeah, I have the same thing. Yeah. And not that I don't trust it, but yeah, I don't know. I didn't put it in my house, so I bought my own.
I've heard that some folks will put one of those wall plugged in CO2s in their bedroom so that they get an early warning.
You can. The thing Well, that's a good question. So the other big safety thing, and I can't believe I didn't mention it, is sleep with your doors closed. Close your bedroom doors. And I wish I had a video. I should have brought my computer, I apologize. But there's a video on YouTube you can go look at, and it's called Close Before You Doze. And it was put on by Underwriter Laboratories, NIST, the National Institute of Safety and Technology, and a bunch of firemen got together, and they burned these 2 rooms. And so they're next to each other, and they put a fire in another room, and I mean raging fire, like rages down the hallway, blows out the door, it's blowing out the window. They leave one bedroom door open. They leave the bedroom door closed right next to the fire, and you can still see the white linen, but the other room is torched, like it's destroyed. So sleep with your bedroom door closed, because if there's flames coming out the front door and we can't come in the front door, we can come in a window. Because firemen love to break stuff, so they have no problem breaking stuff. I promise you. We're good at a few things. Breaking stuff is definitely one of them. So there is a tactic that we do. It's called vent enter search, and without going too technical. If the space doesn't look occupiable from the outside, from the front door, like let's say I can't get in your front door to get to your bedroom, I can go through the bedroom window to get into your bedroom. Now I can take you out the window, and it's probably not gonna be real comfortable, but we'll get you out, right? So I definitely sleep with your bedroom's doors closed all the time. And it's also a good way for us to know that you're in there. Because if I'm doing a search of a house and the bedroom door is closed, I'm thinking somebody's in there. It's just a note we put into our own heads. And that's something that we teach. We've been teaching for a young age, and it's not something that ever reached anybody up the chain, because it's probably only been out there for about 6 or 7 years, but it is very well documented in the saving of lives at fires, that if you're in your bedroom, even Dallas just had one not too long ago, they pulled 6 people out of a bedroom of a house that was on, and 3/4 of the house was actually fully engulfed in fire, but the bedroom wasn't. And everybody was in the bedroom with the window shut, and they pulled everybody out the window. So, yeah, why that's not on the news, I'm not sure, because that was pretty good.
What if that bedroom window had been open and the bedroom?
So, that's a good question, because that's what we do. So the first tactic is to break the window, climb in, and immediately shut the door. It's not gonna be fun, but it's better. Like, you're still gonna get smoke probably coming through the door because the window's open, but it's still better. It's still better, because what really gets people is the smoke inhalation.
Yes.
So, and a lot of times, you're sleeping, and you're not gonna hear the smoke detector go off, or people don't have working smoke detectors. You think that would be something that everybody has, it's just not. And the CO, the gas gets them. Because it's just such a mad rush of the gas. And there are some videos out there on YouTube. There's one I show all the time of an elderly gentleman, clearly has Alzheimer's. He's sitting in a chair in his living room. He's watching TV, eating from a food tray, and they have one of those little flame candles that burns the oil. It's next to a curtain, catches the curtain on fire. Curtain goes up. There's fire rolling over the ceiling, and they have one of those little cameras. So they have a camera here, and the fire's in this corner, and it's on fire, and he just sits there and looks at it, right? Which is understandable. And then the daughter comes in, and she's, oh my gosh. She tries to get him. She runs out the room. She goes back to him. He gets up to go over to the fire, right? She had to pull him away. And then, I'm not kidding you, 3 minutes, bedroom's fully involved in fire. So this is a quick thing, right? That's why, like, calling somebody right away, like if you think if your stove is on fire, somebody call 911 and try to extinguish it, right? But don't, like I said, don't try the I got this fire, because 3 minutes is nothing. You'd be in an emergency, 3 minutes is nothing. It really is. So, yeah, there are some, it's horrible. It's not a horrible video to watch, because luckily they get everybody out, but it's just, you can actually see the fire just progress from this little bit of smoke to rolling over the ceiling in a little 10 by 10 space in a matter of 3 minutes. So, yeah, please that my wife, bless her heart, we use those little heat warmers all the time. And I'm like, you gotta turn this off. Like, I come home and I'm like, this has been on all day. She's like, yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh, no, turn it off. So, you know, I try to unplug those in my house. I know if I'm using them, you know, I make sure that I unplug them when we're done. My wife loves them. I'm always paranoid. I don't know. I've never been to a fire that started in one of those. I've been to a fire that started over one of those because somebody had them plugged into their bathroom sink, and then her kids threw a towel over it, and it was just a lamp, and it just was a matter of time, right? The bathroom's on fire. Luckily, they had the bathroom door closed. The kid shut the bathroom door when he left, so it wasn't too bad. But yeah, just if you put something that has heat nearby it, you know, move the towels away. I mean, I like candles too, but I put them in the center of the island and move anything away from it. My wife's like, that's too much. I'm like, no, it's fine. It's fine. You need that space. So, all right. Any other questions? I got good answers. I'm long-winded too. Does anybody know? I should have started with the I like to talk, right? And we've been here 20 minutes before you got here, James. So, listen, our office is always open. If y'all have questions, please let us know. We're probably going to do an open house event pretty soon up here at our it's our newer station at Station 3. Sometime we're trying around April. So we'll have the fire extinguisher out there. It is something we can come out here with to do. We just need to make sure we can plan it.
Is that our fire station?
Yes, that is the station that's responding here now. Yes.
Okay, see y'all later.
Currently.
I do have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a non-emergency number to call you?
There
on
is.
to-
So if you call 911, they'll ask you what your emergency is, and then they will say, what do you, like, they'll get, so if you're ever nervous, like, I just don't know if I should, just do it. Just do it. Just call 911 and be like, look, I don't know what else to do. You know, there are some phone numbers you can call. You can call to the fire department. The problem is somebody has to be at the phone, right? I get messages all the time on Mondays, on Saturday night. Hey, my smoke detectors are going off. You can call you can Google like Denton County non-emergency number. You can call us like, hey, I need to change my smoke detector batteries. We can set an appointment. Now, we can't always come at that appointment time because emergencies happen, right? That's why I wasn't here at 10. Sorry. So, but that's always something we can set up.
There are 2 fire stations near us. Would you say which one is our fire station?
The one, well, that's a good question. That's been on the internet lately. So, the Little Elm Fire Department is on Devo. It's the one north of the one that's stationed by Aubrey. So if you, and I don't know, they're separated by like 500 feet or whatever it is. So we're the one that's on this, just on the, behind the kids to kids.
Okay, so you are not the one on Union Park Boulevard.
They're both technically on Navo. If you look
Are
at
you
the
the
map.
one closest to the gas station?
No, that is Aubrey.
So you're 1801.
We're 1801.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Before the curve.
I think it's technically Navo
Right, you
until
have
the
to turn
turn or
right.
something. Yeah, it's a.
To get to you.
Yeah, and I don't know why Texas does that. You know, you can live in Denton County. You can live in Little Elm.
We know.
Send your kid to Aubrey and have a zip code for.
Our zip code is Aubrey
I know.
and FedEx.
We're petitioning,
calls us,
we're
Yeah, mine
petitioning to
doesn't,
get
yes,
changed.
they do. Because I'll get contractors call me, the guys who put in McDonald's. They're like, yeah, this is coming up as Krugerville. Who do I go to for your permits? I'm like, no, stop looking at
Yeah,
Google.
we have three
Yeah, I know.
names.
I never saw that till I moved to Texas.
Right.
Oh, really? It's like, wait, I live in unincorporated Denton County, but I'm in Aubrey. But I can't vote for anything in
In your
Aubrey.
zip code.
Yeah, and my
Our
zip code is Aubrey. But my post office is in Prosper, and then it's like, what the heck? Yeah, I don't know if my post office is in Prosper, I just feel like it is. So it would make sense. Not in Louisiana, it's like, if you live here, all your stuff is here. If you live here, all your stuff is here. It's so much easier. But,
Well, Jim, I think we're out of time, but thank you so much for your
I have
time.
more topics. Yeah,
Alrighty.
this is for you guys of the office can. Please don't hesitate to call us. We'll be happy to do whatever we can to help you out. You're welcome.
Thank you, Jim. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a chance, stop by the table before you leave and check out those to-go kits and also what you should do to stay. Thanks for coming, folks. Have a great day.